You know, we have a nice looking group here. It's good to see each and every one of you that is here. And we are concerned about the death penalty in itself as well as the law parties. Both are really not something that we as Americans should be doing. You see, I will mention a little about the law parties. Most of you some of you may be aware, and there are some of you that's not aware. The law party can convict an individual, not just convict him, but give him the death penalty for being in the area of an individual that commits a death penalty crime. And I don't think that's right. And I'm relatively sure that you agree with me. That is. Oh, incidentally, I am Lawrence Foster. I am the grandfather of Kenneth Foster Jr., who was on death row for 12 years, and he is still incarcerated. But he was, and with Governor Perry, got him off of death row. And you know, this is something that he doesn't normally do. But I will have to say, you individuals that are here that supported our cause, if it was not for you and the news media, he would have been executed on the 30th of August of the previous year. But now he is in population, he is incarcerated in Beeville at the McConnell unit there. In fact, I visited him this past Saturday, and he is doing good, and he told me to ensure that I send his love to each and every one of you that are here today. In fact, even you that are not, if there are those that had intentions of being here and are not here, you have his love also. Now, let's sort of get an idea of what it's like to be on death row. It isn't anything pleasant. It is an ordeal for any human being to go through, even not just human being, but any living soul, living body. It could be animal. I'll even include a plant, some plants. So it is not, it's just not a good thing to be, not a good place to be. Now, as a relative of a death row inmate, we literally go through hell during the entire time that the individual is on death row. And then come the time when he is to be, she is to be executed. It's really difficult to explain just how we feel when this time comes. I really never believed that he should or would have been executed for doing nothing. He did not kill anyone. He was not aware that crime was going to be committed that involved the death penalty, that involved killing anyone. So he had nothing to do with it. Even in the trial itself, the individual that did the shooting, he testified that Kenneth had nothing to do with the murder of LaHood. Now, if I go back just a little, making you aware of who LaHood was, his father was a prominent lawyer there in San Antonio where this occurred. And this in itself made it very difficult to get anyone to represent Kenny because they were fearful of being able to use the courthouse again in the even if it was required. They figured they would be barred from the use of the courthouse. One of the attorneys I tried to employ for him said that he wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. He wouldn't even get involved in it. Said he would like to, but there's no way. Said he just couldn't do it. But anyway, when they're on death row, not only do the immediate families suffer from this, there are those friends and loved ones that are really affected by this. And you may not, some of you may not even be aware that even members of his church, they have input into this, and they have feelings for it also, and it affects so many individuals when this happened. You may say, well, why did it happen? Hey, it just so happened in this particular instance, Kenny was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was prosecuted under the law of parties. Now, there are certain things in the law of parties that even say that they should be aware that a crime is in the process of being committed. But there are individuals on death row right now that were not at the scene of the crime, and they are on death row for just knowing about it. You know, put yourself in this position. Supposing that you and your friend were just out for whatever the case may be, and he jumps out and says, hey, I want to go in here and get something in this particular store. And he goes in there, and lo and behold, he attempts to rob the person there and kills him, and comes out, and you take off, and no one, you may not even mention it to them. But let's take a situation. Let's say he didn't even mention it to his friends there that he had performed this act. Well, then both of them, or all of them, are going to be charged with a capital crime. They knew nothing about it. That's the law of parties, and that is unfair. You don't take a life for something that you're not aware of, for an individual that performs or does something that causes the death of another individual and not being aware of it. No, that's not a death penalty case there as far as I can determine, and I think most of you are aware of this, that it would not cause someone to be executed. And this is one of the things. We need to stop the execution in its entirety, because there are numerous of innocent individuals that have been executed. You know, the state is not going to acknowledge this. Their purpose is to really convict an individual. They will go to any extent to convict an individual. And that's where the law of party comes in. They use it as a crutch to really convict an innocent